This is going to be about the Authorized contest that was just recently had. I am MetroidMst. With me is CaptainGlitch, who is the fake accent, and Cardweaver. So, combined, we make up the Liquid Crushment Committee, which is a new format we're doing here at MetConst for the contests. We're going to discuss that a little bit, then get into the actual contest we just held. Discuss that a little bit. So anyway, the new format, it's people on a committee and they decide things. And then there's a user submitted one, which is still a work in progress right now, getting the form up. But it is coming. It will happen. So users should be able to submit their own contest to the site. It basically runs on 3-month periods with a month buffer in between, if I could speech good. So it's your 4 months. So that's the whole year. We just finished up the first one, and I guess what are you all's thoughts on how this structure worked this first time around?
I think it went pretty well, honestly. There wasn't a lot of confusion. Number of entries, we didn't need to extend it. I think just being clear and communicative about what the format was.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more structured. It kind of takes out the randomness of when another contest is, so people can plan ahead. So, and this one, I think we got a decent amount of entries, so it turned out pretty good.
Well, we got a handful missing a thumb amount of entries. but
we needed the thumb for any objections, lady.
Oh, geez, no, got a thumbs down and got cut off. So, one of the I guess bigger points of these committees is supposed to develop or present and develop more interesting themes rather than sort of generic fall, winter, holiday, whatever contests. So obviously this one was not a generic theme.
Yeah.
So about the contest we just hosted, what was your expectations regarding the entries we would get based off of this theme?
Definitely expecting a bunch of heat runs. Way to do it.
I don't know what I was expecting. I was just expecting trash, to be honest. I don't know how that was gonna take form, but as soon as you suggested that, I just expected garbage and knew I was gonna hate myself playing through all of them.
I was expecting full-blown cancer in every entry. Also, kind of similar to Card, I was expecting all of them to contain massive heat runs.
Yeah, either heat runs or large amounts of suitless underwater.
Yeah, that was basically the I guess bare minimum entry level sort of thing. So I was really expecting that, and just cancer.
Although it turns out not all heat runs are actually adhering to the theme.
Yep. This is true. It was definitely I did suggest this theme. It was not it was different. We got the committees together not too far before this contest was due. So I just had this random thought at work one day. It's oh, this is dumb enough. It's different enough. We can try this. And I guess that may be how the committees do things. It's just to, it's not just one person. We're designed to bounce ideas off of each other, try and figure something out, make a stronger overall contest. We were limited on time this one, so it was a bit rushed, but I still think the sort of development of the theme and the rule set we had went pretty well.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Our judging also was a little different than normal since we had the entrants are supposed to. Honestly, it kind of fit the theme with. It gave me a way to put the deleter in somewhere. So, I don't know. I think that was a kind of a different and interesting way to judge things. It's not just. I say not just, but it's not just some. I guess pre-made committee with kind of their own sort of biases, you could say. Obviously, most generally around here kind of tilt towards Super. And almost everyone tilts away from Nestroid. So I kind of felt that the judging, the way it was done with the users getting their input, they're kind of probably a little more biased toward their own game that they hack, so I figured that would balance itself out.
I think so. I don't remember if it was me that suggested it, but I thought it was be interesting for that reason, because it'd balance it out more. And just so, like, I don't know, the judging process would be more relatable to the actual entrants, so they just wouldn't see the judges as, like, trying to, like, make the hack just to please them, I guess. I don't know if that's ever, like, a thing for entrants, but I know when we were making the Spooky Mission hack, we were kind of worried that it wouldn't get love that it deserved because all the judges liked SM and not really ZM.
The love that it deserved.
It's true. It was a worry of our team, so I think this kind of got rid of that with this style of judging, in my opinion.
Bad hack that you should have been worried anyway. That thing was monstrous.
So, speaking of monstrous, I think we should probably discuss the entries we had. And the first one that was submitted was by far the largest. Actually, maybe not by far.
It was definitely the longest.
It was the longest.
It definitely felt the longest, that's for sure.
And that was Ying Ying's entry of Adam Please, the lone fusion hack that was entered. So, I guess we could discuss this hack a little bit in depth here. Obviously, the only fusion entry, I was very worried because it was Ying Ying.
Yeah.
He's, for those who don't know, I believe he's sort of like a low percent runner, and he likes challenges. So when I saw he made an entry, right off the bat, I figured my thought of cancer came true right away. And honestly, I was very surprised by how enjoyable the hack was. Maybe not so much from the gameplay perspective, because it's fusion, so whatever. But it had something none of the others had, which was the constant dialogue from Adam, the ship in the game. So that was a point that no other entry had, and I think he used that really well. I think by far that was his best way to fit the theme, was just having those conversations in there. Do you think any of his items really fit? Because I didn't really get that feeling from any of the items.
Not really, honestly. Because, I mean, you really required every item afterwards. I mean, there's obviously, once you get an item, you need it for, like, one thing, but during the whole hack, you, like, needed it multiple times. So, I definitely think it's the dialogue that helped him play to the theme more than his items. It's like, you needed missiles, you needed Varia. You're obviously going to need morphin bombs for things. And he didn't really make any of them obsolete.
I kind of went into all of these giving morphin bombs a pass, like...
Yeah.
Just there.
Yeah.
If you make a hack that only requires morph ball once, but that sounds terrible to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the items, I don't know, they just didn't feel... They felt like actual progression and continued usage. So that was... It didn't strike me that it fit that well there. But his story elements were pretty great. a really strong aspect of the hack. Like, outside of this contest, this hack probably does not does not do very well in any other contest we've had.
Yeah. Ying Ying's definitely really good at writing funny things.
The quality control in the hack was...
Yeah, I think I got the bad end of that stick. I got soft lock twice, and you ended up copying me in one of those soft locks when I told you not to try to make this SAX angry.
Well,
but
yeah, I only dodged that one because I saw MST stream.
Yeah,
because who doesn't like to taunt the SAX?
Well,
and the way I managed to do it is like I did it with bombs instead of the charge beam flare, so I don't even know how I managed to do that because the bomb radius is like not even more than a block, so I don't know how I managed that. But the second soft lock I clipped out of bounds because he put the balloon head enemies next to a wall, and it just shoved me out of bounds, and I had to reset and refight box. So it was pretty good.
Notice the yellow doors that weren't actually yellow doors.
Yeah. And the map.
Yeah, there was... The soft locks are a huge issue. The bugs were weird. The door thing, I don't know if that was on purpose, and if it was, why weren't they just gray or not put in as doors?
Yeah, I'm not sure what he did there. Like that, usually that's like from a clip that not putting the proper clip data, but I think he said he did that on purpose. I'm not sure why he didn't like make it a gray door like he said.
That was a little strange.
Door, like
yeah, because
there's another level of security available.
There was also, I don't really think this fits so much in quality control as enjoyability, but like requiring, I believe Glitch, you said that even like people who run the game were unfamiliar with some of the tech that was required in this game.
Yeah, the platform tech.
Yeah,
the platform block.
I don't mind like stuff like that being added in that's sort of obscure, but it's required. To my knowledge.
Not necessarily. There's another way to get in, but
oh, okay.
I initially thought that was the only way into the area, but it's just a faster way. He said he meant it as an exit, but it's still a thing that he should.
I mean, well, he specifically mentioned it in his submission post. That's why I was
only after I told him to include it. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, speaking of enjoyability, that was the next thing they were judged on.
Oh god.
I have to give this a qualifier for an Ying hack. This was actually really fun. It was still fusion and still had a bunch of Ying elements to it. Nothing like insanely difficult like I was expecting. It also did not. It kind of had a mini heat run, but it was not the type of heat run I was expecting.
Yeah.
It was pretty enjoyable overall. Most of that came from the story, because high jump causing political trouble is pretty great for any story.
Story, honestly, is the full 2 points out of 5 enjoyability for me. Like, I hated the gameplay. Like, part of that is bias against fusion, and I tried to keep that out of it, but it just wasn't fun. Like, I think enjoyability is the one place where like game bias is allowed.
Probably. I'm also like the jump extend or some other things where like
it's really tedious. Like
yeah,
everything was super tedious.
I'm not sure I'd consider a lot of it tedious.
Some of it was just overly precise.
I would say that's a good description.
If you missed any of the jumps and fell in, you started over at the room start, right?
Yeah, that was just
right
at the
start. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was, dude, the start was enough to make me not want to finish the hack. I was like, this is stupid.
Yeah,
would, but it was like you need to make the beginning of your hack like
not drive some players away.
I think for me, I really hated the hack like towards the first sector because I had to redo it like 4 or 5 times because I missed the energy tank MST found, and he's not very generous with energy tanks ever in any of his hacks, except the odd mission. But I ended up spending an hour there, and I was just loathing it because I wanted to finish them all in that day, and it was just pure cancer at that point. But after I finally got past it, I started enjoying it more because it was actually got an energy tank, and it was more bearable beyond that point.
I'm actually not very good at Fusion or Zero Mission, and I think had I not seen MST playthrough part of it, I wouldn't have been able to finish it.
Honestly, if I did not collect that E-Tank, I don't know. I would have...
That benefited you a lot.
I probably would have reverted to safe stating.
I think you actually didn't die as much as I did because you had that E-Tank. It's crazy.
It's
that was
just
salty.
So yeah, that was surprisingly enjoyable due to the story. Gameplay, like I said, probably a little too precise. I mean, like someone who's into speedrunning Fusion would probably enjoy it more based on that. But your average player probably not.
Yeah, I think it's beyond the skill level ceiling of most players, even the ones that like Fusion.
I do kind of felt that he toned the ingness down.
Oh,
for this
most without a doubt. I remember mentioning in one of your videos it's nowhere near 2K levels.
No. No, the lettuce leaf did not wreck me, so I was...
Oh man.
Okay, so the last bit we had was the graphics.
Yes.
I think we put this in just because it's... some people like to genuinely put more effort into how their hack looks, so we can give them a little, I guess, bonus for that. The graphics in this were... I'm not really a fan of the Fusion Zero Mission art style or their lighting, so that's probably just personal bias. There was some interesting stuff. I did like the starting area, the rooftops in Moscow. That looked good. The rest of it was okay. The train was interesting. I'll give him the train. That was interesting.
Solid ending images.
Yes. The ending images were good. That is something I do like about the GBA droids. The ending images.
It is to put whatever you want in there.
Yep.
Pretty much.
I was not a fan of some of his morph tunnels. He had the metal station tiles, and instead of making it in a way where the part Samus walks on, that thicker little chunky bit on top, for the morph tunnels, he just sort of made a blank row of air tiles in there, and that was your tunnel, and it just looks not great.
Oh yeah. For me, I think the graphics were too simplistic, especially a lot of it's just one solid color beyond a certain point. I know the vanilla games, the filler tiles are like that. And that's something I've never really liked, but it's beyond the filler tiles. On the rooftops, half the building is just a solid color.
Yeah.
It's pretty bland.
Yep. It was... I don't know how difficult it is, but I was also kind of disappointed the beams, or basically your one beam you have, was not changed in the palette at all. That always irritates me. You're making a hack, just change the beam palette. I did sort of enjoy the item capsules, the locked items that weren't authorized, just hanging on the rooftops. That kind of looked like missiles. Those were pretty interesting. I guess the reactor area, whatever that ball was in the background, was interesting.
Oh, that
like
thing. Yeah, that was
the pre-Yakuza thing in
Yeah.
the original.
Yeah, that was.
I don't know what that was, but it was kind of interesting. But other than the rooftops, that's really the only thing positive. I guess there was the train, but
What about the sideways room? That's the one probably the thing I appreciated the most. Looked cool.
it was sideways. It's the normal tile set on its side, so
It's still better than most of the tile
it's
sets.
like rotation. It's on its except not fully rotated all the way. Yeah. Metroid SR387. A zero mission entry. This was the one collab. I was actually kind of surprised there was only one between One of 99 and Nathan Tech. So this hack, I actually felt had the weakest theme out of all of the entrants, except due to one big mistake and one other. Overall, I would say this one did not fit the theme very well.
Like, a hack was made, pasted into the contest for him. Like, it was fun, but the theme was way off.
Yeah. I only saw like one area that sorta tried to get it, but still didn't, because the item isn't even needed. So
Yeah. The hack itself is probably the best built of all of them here. Like the most legitimate hack in there, but it just doesn't fit the theme.
yeah,
It looks good. It plays pretty well. I didn't really notice that many or any errors that I can remember, and it just kind of fell on the theme. Like the rest of I think the rest of it was pretty strong, and it's just zero missions, so there was no real story elements to be added in.
yeah. I think it was the lowest theme I gave. Let me look quick. Oh, it's tied with Freeze Flame, but that's because error.
Like, the theme ruined this one for me. Like, had they followed the theme and kept everything else quality and stuff, I think that they would have been, like, as much as it pains me that I enjoyed a zero mission hack.
It was definitely a fun hack. I honestly got more of a feel of Nestroid from it than anything, just due to these sort of vertical and horizontal shafts everywhere, kind of connecting areas together, and not that many items to collect, honestly. So like if we were trying to build Nestroid and something else, this would have been great. But that's not what we were going for. But it was a really solid hack. I guess like the quality control, I don't know if either of you noticed anything. I really didn't notice any.
I noticed a lot. It's probably because they fixed everything after I noticed it. And like, there's like a music bug that I specifically told them about because they had custom music and they didn't fix it, which irritated me. And then he also imported music badly, and I told him specifically not to do that, which also irritated me. But I decided not to penalize them against that since, not everybody else knew about that. But there were some like tiling errors, but it was always like by one tile. And they fixed all that before the deadline.
I must have got some of that the one after the deadline then, because I didn't really notice too much with that.
I think that's something we should maybe address for future contests. Editing your submission post after the contest deadline should not be allowed.
Oh, yeah, no. They got it in before, though, so...
I mean, I
edited the post for him. input the IPS. So,
but I think in the previous contest that happened a couple times where someone actually uploaded a different patch on the same submission post.
Yeah.
Coming to it a little bit later. Yeah.
This is a deadline for a reason.
Want to fix your tiling errors? That's great. Fix them before you submit it to the site. But
yeah, so I guess Glitch, you noticed a lot more, probably just because you hack a bad game. The next one, enjoyability. Like I said, this was an enjoyable hack. It was probably the best hack in this contest in terms of how it plays. And I had no real issues with it there.
Yeah, as it pains me to say this, I actually didn't enjoy this one too much. I actually enjoyed things more. I don't know, I thought it was like really repetitive and boring.
There was...
Except for the research area. That was probably my favorite area. But
there was a lack of items.
Yeah, I just felt like you were just going around a bunch of rooms and not doing anything. And they were just kind of thrown in there to make the hack bigger. And while all the rooms looked nice and stuff, but I just felt like there wasn't a lot going on.
You'll have to correct me, because the Imago fight. No, not Imago. Is it Imago? The larva thing hangs from the ceiling?
That's Kirugiru.
That's Kirugiru, okay.
What?
You know the hopper thing?
The larva that hangs from the ceiling.
The trapped larva with the tentacles, you know.
You have to missile tentacles, make it fall down and die.
Spore Spawn.
Yeah,
sure.
the Zeum version of Spore Spawn. That was an interesting fight. I enjoyed that there were Rinkos. that was a big plus in my book. That was a creative fight. Did either of you get the early Varia suit? Because I guess I broke that.
That was when you used the zip line without wave, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never even encountered that zip line, but I knew as soon as you entered that room that you could do that because missiles do things.
That kind of made Wave Beam fit the theme because it wasn't even needed at all, but still not really.
Yeah. Had that been the required way to get Varia, that would have been better.
And then the last one, graphics. I thought they looked pretty nice. It looked nicer than Ying Ying's.
Yeah. I rated this one the highest for graphics because the palette's pretty good. The enemies' palettes were changed. They did their title screen, which is always good. Some of those ending images were questionable, especially the 100% one. But they also had some animated graphics in the Face on Mines area, which is kind of cool.
Crystal Knights.
Atom Virus.
Yes, the Atom Virus. The lone... Yes, the legitimately lone Super Metroid entry into the contest. I was actually pretty surprised at the lack of SM entries. But the one legit entry we got was pretty solid. No, it's not.
That's not why. It's because MST and I both usually enter the contest, and
it's okay.
Yeah.
I would have beat you.
And by usually I mean just the once for me.
The Atom Virus, Crystal Knight's entry. This was a slightly different take on the theme that I think worked really well.
Yeah.
I was not expecting this. Oh, I should mention about SR387. Technically, kind of a heat run. You can't do anything doing it. You just die. But that's still in there. There is heated rooms. There is a heat run in this, but that's not the basis for how he did the theme. How he pulled the theme off was, I thought, really creative and interesting. And I felt he worked it in really well with kind of his idea he had. So, what did you all think of his theming?
Pretty good. There were only a couple spots where it seemed iffy, but the entire time I was like, man, these items are useless. That's exactly what we were going for. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he did it definitely the best. And, like, there are a couple items you needed still, like space jump, but
Yeah, that was.
But like the good items people want, like Varia, Gravity.
They just became useless as soon as you got them.
Bombs. You never even needed bombs. Like, that's pretty impressive. So he definitely did it. He did it exactly like Adam would too. Like, you see something you need, you run away, and then you're like, oh, you can go ahead and use this now. So go back.
It's a really linear hack, which I think kind of helped his theme, because obviously backtracking's not. If you do that, having items is going to help you if you have to backtrack. So by doing something so linear, that helped him out. The heat run was not unreasonable. I died once, but I knew exactly what to do after that death, and it basically ended right after that anyway, so that wasn't terrible. There was a suitless underwater, which again got gravity. Nope, no more of that. Didn't even need it. It was a really and his take on applying the theme was pretty cool. It was just a virus, quote unquote, in the suit that disabled everything. So you technically, according to the deep lore of this game, had every item. Just running around. Eventually, the suit's, fighting the virus, and you get these items back as you go along. It was a really interesting concept, and I think he pulled it off really well with this theme.
Yeah, I think Crystal has a lot of potential, because he did
substitute turkey
last contest for his.
Yeah.
That was like his first hack submission. That was pretty good for his first hack.
Yeah, this is his second hack, and he's does really good on the theme. As far as the rest of it, scroll all the way back up here. The quality control, I did notice there was a wall that was partially air. I don't think he really paid attention too much to, or checking the box and smile to show all of this tile type, which I always do to make sure everything I want solid is solid. And honestly, I don't think a lot of people do that. But I did notice that wall in particular. I think when looking back through the video, I jumped into a slope on the ceiling that wasn't sloped properly, so I got caught on the solid tile and just kind of lost my momentum. That was another little minor thing I noticed, but I didn't really notice anything else.
Yeah, I only ever noticed that wall. I think everything else was pretty solid.
Really notice any issues, but I think that was just luck. Like, I didn't run into the wall that was there.
Thankfully, it didn't lead to an out of bounds.
Yeah.
So that kind of helps save it. But yeah, nothing too major there. As far as enjoyability, I think we all relatively enjoyed this one. I liked it. I did die the one time to the heat run, but it only sends you back like 3 or 4 rooms. And I felt it was obvious enough what to do afterward. The item you get in there, it's like, oh, okay, yeah. You would make it the next time, I'm pretty sure.
Because I'm gonna backtrack a bit what we were just talking about, but like, about quality. Ted had mentioned there's a bunch of perma-stacks in the hack, and
I'm not
That's what I was really confused about. That's why I was kind of silent. Yeah, because I didn't encounter any, and he's like talking about it like there's quite a bit, so I was really confused about that.
Yeah, I don't know what.
There's areas without spikes in them, because Ted, that is not a perma-stuck.
There's no Shack Tool and Gauntlet. But back to enjoyability. For me, I enjoyed this hack probably the most as well. The heat run, I definitely died a lot too, but I'm just not as good at Super Metroid as I am at the GBA Troids, so it's not really his fault, but I think it was Card that shared this sentiment. Like, I felt like I had to kind of die in order to learn what to do next.
Yeah, that happened at least once.
Yeah, and then there's that troll crumble block at the end. That was awesome. But other than that, I really enjoyed the hack. I think it was pretty solid, and I think that's largely because how creative it was, and like the quality of it in general. Because I didn't find any errors like we mentioned earlier, so I think I played a large part into it.
The graphics, I believe he drew at least one brand new tile set for this. I know a lot of people I don't think liked it because I don't think it kind of fits in with like the Super Metroid art style. But I still kind of enjoyed the tile sets. I didn't mind them. I thought they looked pretty decent.
I think my main issue was that was the only thing that was changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, he also did not change the beam palette.
That. Right, the beam palette, naturally. If you're gonna make a tile set like that, I think that's one of the times where you do have to change the doors.
Mm.
Doors are in every room, and they still look like regular Super Metroid. Like Samus looking like a different art style, I think is fine. Like CRE tiles look exactly the same. It felt very out of place. And that's why I said it reminded me of Volta. Very weird.
We had a second Super Metroid entry, and you will get okay, so they'll get everything they need to know just from the name of this. It was Metroid Dread 2, The Quest for the Ultimate Treasure, Remix Edition Turbo Ultimate 15. This title was so long I could not fit it in my YouTube title when I was uploading this video. And honestly, if he had followed the rule set and had the hack end with the credits, it wouldn't have won, but it wouldn't have deviated from the theme.
Well. Yeah.
Yeah, so, but it didn't end in credits, so it's DQ'd. I don't know, how do you all feel about, I guess, sort of joke submissions? Because that's what this was. I don't think it was sort of in, like, I don't want to say mean spirit, but like he still kind of fit the theme with his entry. But I'm not a huge fan of sort of like a joke entry into a contest.
Like hacks that are supposed to be bad just to be bad. I don't know why he's not submitting something real.
Yeah, so that was a thing that was entered. The actual final entry was another zero mission entry. This was Metroid Freeze Flame by Whale Connor?
Yes.
That's the right one? Okay, because there's like 50 whales in Discord now. So this was Whale Connor. This was what I was expecting, except it wasn't cancer somehow.
Yeah.
The whole hack is a heat run. So I think everybody kind of expected that to be the case. I think all of them, except for Dread 2, had a heat run potentially somewhere. I guess SR387 didn't really, but the rest of them did. This one was literally everything that was the hack was a heat run. And it didn't feel terribly unfair either.
Yeah, I only, I think, died at a couple spots because I didn't know where I was going, but afterwards it gives you plenty of energy.
Yeah, I did die a few times trying to get to Ridley.
Yeah, that's where I had some trouble. The owls like to hit me. The Holtz.
Thank you. Owls.
The owls. Okay, I did not know what you were talking about.
But yeah.
Should have just said who?
Should have. But yeah, the theme in this was more built up around Varia. And it was like a slow build. Because this hack is bigger than you expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was much longer than expected.
Yeah, it was pretty big for for this. So you go through this whole hack, and I think that really helps. The length helped it with the theme, because you've got all these garbage heat or ice rooms, and like, when is this going to be over finally? It's like, just authorize this suit already. So it really, really nailed that part, except he didn't quite test it through, because he apparently missed a door connection, because I believe you're supposed to get Varia right before Mother Brain.
Yes.
And you don't.
It's a huge thing to miss. Like,
Yeah, it's kind of important.
Yeah.
you have to test your stuff.
Yeah, that, like, just that really
That, like,
hurt it.
Yeah, that tanked his scores. quite
Yeah,
a bit.
like, I could not give it... The other items didn't really, I feel, contributed much to it. They were more there to try and help you get the stupid Varia suits. That is such a big miss. Like, anywhere, if it was on top of the ship when you were escaping, right after Mother Brain, I think we even said, during the ending images, I would have accepted that there. It just wasn't
Hilarious.
there. And that's so disappointing, because I think a lot of people really enjoyed Crystals, gave it high scores. I think this one would have got very similar scores if it had that item.
Yeah.
I think this one might have won if it had that.
Kind of why, for the theme of this one, I rated it as though, essentially 1 for its current standing, 1 for if it had Varia properly. Actual rating, right in the middle. Because, I feel like that's more of a quality issue. He intended to have the theme correct.
Yeah, I mean,
This hack.
intention didn't make it happen. Is my problem. Yeah, that was a big unfortunate miss there. But yeah, speaking of quality though, it was fine. There was the Lua script worm. It's,
Yeah, the acid in there.
Yeah, the acid was just rupees. I'm not sure why that happens, but I'm guessing he broke something somewhere.
Yeah, it's just placeholder graphics that he never placed the animated tiles properly.
So, but that's the only thing I can really think of in terms of quality issue. The Ridley section of the heat run was much tighter, I felt, than the rest, so that could also kind of be considered one, I guess. Because the others felt a lot more forgiving than that one to me. But I also spent the most time dying there. Overall, I think I didn't really notice any tiles or whatever. I did like his use of those tiles you stand on to make sort of the background disappear so you can see what you're doing.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was pretty interesting.
Those are always cool. I like that. It's way better to have tunnels like that.
So that was some nice stuff. The enjoyability, for what I was expecting the contest to be, for being the one hack that really did that, it was surprisingly not cancer. Like I said, I only really had trouble with the one heat run section, getting to Ridley. I really did like the hack. It was, for a heat run based hack, it was really surprisingly good.
Yeah, I didn't expect much out of it myself, just because it was kind of an out of nowhere entry. I was just like, oh boy. And then I played it and I was like, wow, this is actually comprehensive.
Yeah, I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. I kind of wasn't thinking that I had to play through all of these when I was watching a stream, and then I realized I did, so I stopped. As I was watching you play through, I was like, this whole thing's a heat run. This is gonna be garbage. It was not that bad. Like, I think it's because you have so much energy.
Yeah.
It's like a heat run, but it's like, you're probably not gonna die.
Yeah, it didn't feel
There's definitely
unfair.
a point where you feel safe because you have so much energy, but you're already doomed. And that part sucks.
I did like how he increased the drop.
Yes,
Like
the
the big drops gave you 50.
That is definitely, and a hack that's based around this, that is very useful to have. Although,
Yeah.
I guess this probably fits more in quality control, but I felt the drops were weird. Like, if I wanted energy, it would drop nothing. If I wanted energy, it would drop ammo. I don't know if that's just Zero Mission's sort of drop thing being weird, or if he did something.
I think the drops in the ice area in particular were bad, because like the Novas wouldn't really drop energy. Like I'd see them occasionally drop small energy, but that's about it. Especially during the Ridley segment, like I would take a second to kill him because I'm like, oh, I'll get some energy,
And then nope.
and then I end up dying because I wasted that time.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to that, because I thought they would have dropped energy more frequently than they did.
I think he just had low drop rates and didn't check. Or it was intentional to add difficulty, I'm not sure, but it's probably a drop rate thing.
Are drops in Zero Mission similar to drops in Super Metroid, where sometimes you set them to do one thing and the game gives you the middle finger?
No.
Hopefully the
But
editor is better.
there's like an actual drop to where like it can drop nothing. And that's the thing it can pick. And a lot of the enemies have that set to a decent amount by default.
And then the final part is graphics. There really wasn't anything custom beyond the portal, which kind of looked cartoony, but Zero Mission looks cartoony anyway, so I had no issue with it.
Yeah, there wasn't really much to go off of, because he didn't even add ending images, new ones anyway.
Yeah, that
Like,
was...
he had some custom graphics for the Norfair thing, I believe, but it was pretty much just the Norfell tile set, and then in the ice area is the same tile set, colored icy. So it wasn't really much to go off of.
Yeah, I think the big things that stood out for me, like the level design of the rooms was good. What you said before about the tiles you could step on to view the really
maze
cool.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, one second. And then I liked the tile set palette, but I really did not like the actual portal itself. Jarring, out of place.
Was that his first hack as well? I think it was.
It was.
So, yeah, that was a really solid first hack too. So
yeah, it's again a lot less cancer than I expected it, because it was I think it was the only entry I didn't expect. So all the other entrants I knew the people working on them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess for some reason I expected less because I didn't know about it, but it was a good surprise.
I don't know, when Ted's working on a hack, I kind of expect cancer.
Well, I kind of encouraged him to make that, so.
But yeah, speaking of cancer though, overall thoughts on the contest?
Cancer.
Thank you.
My personal thoughts, I think with this new system, for the first contest under it, it shows that this system has potential, especially for the themes, because the last contest theme was really generic and not what we expected. Because I was playing Enter, yeah, and I was kind of disappointed. So I like silly things, and a generic fall theme isn't silly.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do stuff with that, but I like the ability to have more imaginative themes.
Yes, something that's out there that would cause that you can have some fun
You to
with.
be creative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, no one in their right mind is going to make these atom-based hacks for their main hack. So a
Other
contest
than
is
Ing, maybe.
well, yeah. But,
Like Crystal, he wouldn't make something like that.
Yeah,
But he got it, and it ended up being good.
yeah, and so yeah. I think overall the contest was pretty successful. There was more entries than I was expecting. They weren't cancer, which was the most surprising part.
Yeah, I think that's probably the most successful part.
We had a contest with like 80% non-cancer. This is great. But yeah, I mean, even based on the theme itself, that's shockingly high non-cancer factors.
Yeah.
The theme lends itself to just garbage everywhere, and it didn't happen like that. So I was really happy with the results. I felt the turnout was pretty good.
I feel like the theme was basically, hey, so you know these cool games, Fusion and Other M? Let's make more stuff like that. I agree with Glitch. I think it shows that the system we came up with has potential. I'm interested to see how the other committee's going to handle it. To see how the community-run one is going to go. But
Yeah.
did a lot better. Like, I like that it had structure, things were clear, there was a clear set of people to answer questions.
There was a definite time frame.
No extensions. It relieved some pressure from Quote, which meant that things actually got done. Sorry, Quote, but
Quote's bad.
how it works. And I don't know, I like it. I'm glad we did it.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm really happy with our first little thing. We were a little bit rushed this first time because we didn't put the this new contest format together too far in advance of when this was due. And we are
It was pretty quick.
Yeah.
and we are recording this podcast on May 1st. This is the buffer month. The next committee made of one of 99, Jordan 5, and GF Kinnan. The post-hack committee, which is a great name. I am pretty jealous of that committee name. That committee is sponsoring or hosting the next contest. Obviously, we don't know anything about it yet. We do have a special Discord server just for the contest committees, but we each have our own channels. So whatever they're discussing is a big secret. So, in a month's time, we will find out. And I think, continuing on with this format, we're going to try it for a little while just to see. But I think it's a really good start. We'll see what happens when the post-hack committee gets their thing together and see kind of how their thoughts are. Because again, we were aiming these committees to kind of be between like 3 and 5 people each. So we did it the bare minimum right now, 3 each.
Yeah.
Just kind of to start it, get things going. So we're still looking to potentially add some more, but obviously we're gonna feel this out a little more. I think we've had one successful contest. I think we could consider this one a success.
Yes, without a doubt.
So
We'll see how the next one goes. Hopefully we get another really interesting theme.
Yeah.
See some more entries, some more unexpected entries. Those are always the best.
yeah, props to MST, by the way, for coming up with the theme, because
Yeah, that was...
my life got super busy and did basically nothing for the beginning of this. So thank you, MST.
Props
he
to
kept
work for
asking
letting
us.
me be bored on my phone for a little bit. Coming up with this idea.
Yeah. I remember you kept asking us for a theme, and we were just kind of like, eh. And then you said that, and I was like, sure, let's go with it.
It's,
I mean, if you ask me for themes, I can always just say suitless underwater, and I feel like eventually people are going to get tired of that amazing idea.
think everyone is already tired of that idea. No, honestly, coming up with a theme was much harder than the rule set / judging, all that stuff. Coming up with an interesting theme.
You want it to be good. You want it to be good and not bland.
Yeah, and that's kind of hard because we tried to bounce the committees based on people's different hacking affinities. That's why Jordan's on the other team, because he's literally the only other person I know who likes Nestroid. I don't even think Snarf likes it.
Nestroid isn't bad.
So we tried to split it up so it's not just so the committees can kind of balance out different things so that they can fit any game. There might be exclusions in the future because some things just may not work. But
being inclusive of Metroid 2 is going to be tricky.
Well, Metroid 2 could have fit in here.
Well, just like things
kind
in general.
Yeah.
There's some things about it.
Yeah. There just might be some contests in the future. It's just not going to work for some. So we're trying to do our best to make it as encompassing and inclusive as possible. But there might be some really good contest ideas that just won't work for some hacks. So
Yeah.
Ones where quality is important, we're going to have to exclude Zero Mission.
I can't wait to go over my Nestroid only idea. There'll be no entries for that one.
Refuse to play through any of the entries for that one.
Just wait till the Prime hacks start coming out.
It's actually going to be a problem. I don't know how I will play those. I don't think my computer will handle that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Streaming those would be an issue for everyone because Dolphin, it's bad.
Yeah, I have not tried Dolphin yet on my new computer. I'm not sure how it'll work.
I forgot how I got it to work, and now it doesn't work again. And I'm activated about it.
No.
All Prime hacks must include a step-by-step instruction on how to get Dolphin to work.
Isn't their editor thing so make it not like a GameCube game, but actually run on your PC?
Isn't that what Antidote is doing?
Yeah, I think any hacks would be based on that. I think so. It might be possible without Dolphin to play them. I don't know. But yeah, Prime hacks some point in the future. Those will be interesting to.
Oh boy.
Try and add in. I can't wait to make so little Prime.
There's no Rinkas in that game, so.
Oh well, never mind. I'm not hacking that game.
Thank goodness.
I need someone to add Rinkas in there.
Good lord.
The Rinkas are already a little questionable, and they only have to move in 2 directions.
Just imagine 3D donuts. But yeah, no, I'm actually really happy with how this came out so far. So hopefully the next one we'll see in just about a month. It'll probably be like a day after this podcast goes up. Note to self to edit timestamps spoken here.
Something interesting. How are we closing out this contest? Like, all of the judging is done? All of the entries are in?
Yeah, the judging is done. The entries are in. Quote's gonna tap. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that'll also be up the day before the next contest.
Hopefully not, because everything's there. He just needs to put it together. And then the winner, eventually, we are responsible as a committee for getting a prize of some sort. It might just be, and the prizes can change for whatever in the future. We just didn't really have time to really get something together here. It's probably going to be something I just get or something, maybe a special forum user group or whatever. Gum. Yeah, I will mail the winner bubblegum. It will not be pre-chewed.
Metroid brand.
So yeah, that is something in the future as well. So we kind of do want to have some sort of prizes.
Yeah.
It's tricky because of anonymous online nature of the community.
Yeah. Yeah, it can't always be or it won't always be something you win. Like I said, it could just be a forum user group, so you can have like your forum username be green, pretend to be a mod for a while or something. Not an actual mod, just pretend to be one. So yeah, things like that. When we quote gets this tally up, we'll work on getting a prize out to the winner. Because I'm pretty positive it's not the collab that's winning, so there's no winners this time. Also, keep in mind, I want to mention this: if you have a 10-person collab, if that's allowed, and you win, yeah, don't expect to get any like physical prizes at all. Just saying, you all ain't cheap.
Each contest entry who is a part of a massive collab will get 1/n worth of prize. So if that's a forum roll, you'll each get like 2 letters.
See, that's why a pack of bubblegum works. You can split that up.
Yeah, but the shipping, my god.
Shipping a piece of... Imagine shipping it to Finland
Use
and
a
then
pigeon.
back to...
Just use a pigeon.
Yes, we'll have a pigeon across the Atlantic. Yeah, no, really happy with this contest. Look forward to the next one, where, as Liquid Crushment, we may have to crush the competition in that one.
Hey.
We'll see.
Depends on the theme.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I think that's pretty much does it for this. This is actually way longer than I thought it was gonna be. So, yeah.
This, what a terrible decision.
But no, like I said, this will be up a day before the next contest, so go check the forum out for that. So, I guess with that, we'll sign off and pass the contest torch on to the post-hack committee. No pressure or anything, but we nailed this contest.
Pass it on to quote.
Oh, right. We don't want to even touch the post-hack committee. We don't want their badness to rub off on us. We have to use a mediary. Although, what's worse? The post-hack committee or quote?
That's a pretty tough decision.
See, at least
Would you
Jordan
rather
likes Nestor.
have to deal with waiting for 3 years for things, or just whatever they have to offer?
We'll see. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. We'll monitor how this goes, and we'll see how the user submitted contest thing goes later. So,
If we ever get that form up there.